This is part 2 of lesson 3.2, I believe is what we're on. It's intro to functions, and now they're giving us graphs and they ask us to determine whether or not they are a function or not. There's an easy way to do this called the vertical line test. If you can draw a vertical line hit more than one point, it's not a function. The reason why is because that's giving you more than one output for an input. So, for example, number 24. On number 24, I can draw a vertical line. I can hit every single point on that graph, and so 24 is not a function. Whatever this input was right here, this x value, it's producing all the outputs. So that input is definitely having more than one output. Number 26, I can draw a vertical line, hit 2 points at several places on there. So it is not a function because those inputs, the x values, are producing two different outputs. And looks like all these are going to be this way of the ones I had. 23 is not a function. I mean, it's a function because you can't hit 2 points. 25 is not. I can hit 2 points. 27 is a function. I can't hit 2 points drawing vertical lines. 28, which is what I'm on now, you can see I can draw a vertical line and actually hit 3 points. So this is not a function because that input right here is given 3 different values, and this input gives 3 different values. If your input gives more than one value, not a function. All right, on numbers 29 through 40, they want us to determine if it's a function, but they also want us to state the domain and range, which isn't quite as easy as it usually is, because usually you can just look at it and they list the numbers, but on a graph, maybe not so easy. So I'll start with number 30. The domain is all the inputs, and this looks like every x value can be inputted into it. So domain is the set of all real numbers. If you wanted to use interval notation on this, you could say from negative here, or negative infinity to alright, come on, there we go, to infinity. 31, oh, I guess I need to mention the range. The range is the outputs that I receive, and they are from 0 to positive infinity. Now, I think I will go ahead and use the interval notation, just because it's going to make it quicker and easier. Oh, and it could have equaled 0, so instead of a parenthesis, I should probably use a bracket. There. And this one is a function. If you take a look back at number 29, this one is not a function because it could hit in 2 places. Domain is 0 to infinity. There wasn't any inputs that were negative that was used. And the range, the outputs, would be positive infinity to negative infinity. That's on 29. All right, number 32. The domain is the inputs that were used. Looks like it's negative 3 to 3, including negative 3 and 3. And then on the range, it looks the same. Looks like it went from negative 3 to 3. This is not a function. The relationship isn't, because each input between negative 3 and 3 is actually giving 2 different y values, so not a function. 34. Okay, looks like for the domain, we're doing negative infinity to, looks like about negative 2. It's kind of hard to see, it's blurry. Or positive 2 to infinity. The reason I used or instead of and is because these are not overlapping. It's just the combination, the union of the two domains, 2 to infinity. Okay, on the range, the outputs I get go really high and really low, so we'll say from negative infinity to infinity. There's not a y value that I can't get out using our domain. So because I can draw a vertical line, hit more than one point, a lot of these x values are given 2 different y values. Matter of fact, they all are except for negative 2 and 2. So this is not a function. It looks like I have one more problem here at the bottom of the page, number 36. The domain, looks like they're using the numbers 3 and larger, so 3 to infinity is the domain. That's the inputs that can be used. The outputs that are produced, it doesn't look like it's going up very fast, but the thing is it continues to go up forever and it goes down forever. So negative infinity to infinity. It's just doing it very slowly. And this is not a function because I can draw a vertical line and hit more than one point. So not a function. These inputs, or this input gives 2 different outputs. Every input gives 2 different outputs on this relation except for 3, which gave us output of 0. 37 through 40 have the same instructions as the other. So domain, I'm on number 38. The domain is the inputs that were used, the x values, which would be negative infinity to infinity. The range is the set of outputs that I got. The only output I'm getting is 3. The only y value is 3. And this is a function because every input only gives one output. So is a function. When we do graphing linear functions later, we'll say that this is y equals 3. Will be the equation of the line. On this one, it's x equals negative 2, and it's not a function. We'll do something like that too. Number 40. I'm going to change colors here so you know I'm on a different problem. Domain is the x values that can be used, the inputs. So it looks like they continue left and right forever. So negative infinity to infinity. The range is the y values that we get out. They go up forever and they go down forever. So negative infinity to infinity. And this is a function. There's no x value giving me 2 different y values. So it is a function. Okay, the directions on this is just to determine whether or not this is a function. When you have equations, it's actually pretty simple to tell. We could go through the process of graphing and doing ordered pairs and all that, but you can really tell by just looking at the function, because if you end up with a y squared, for example, like on 43 and 51, those are not functions. Okay. The reason why is because you would end up getting 2 different outputs for each input. We could do a few examples on that, but I'm just telling you that's the way you can recognize it. Also, 52 is something we might all look at. So I'm going to tell you right now, 42 is a function. 44 is a function. 46, if you solve for y, it's going to be a function. 48 is a function. 50 is a function. On this one right here, let's say x is 3. What would y have to be to make that true if I'm doing the absolute value of y? Well, y could be 3. Or y could be -3, couldn't it? The absolute value of -3 is also 3. Because an input of 3, remember x is the input, because one input had 2 different outputs possible, it is not a function. Okay? Not a function.